What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon on this Victory Friday, an unconventional Victory Friday, maybe, because a lot of people aren't feeling stellar after the way in which last night's game went down. But it is Victory Friday, nevertheless, and the day after any Seahawks game, I like to start by taking a look at snap counts. So, a little bit of an unconventional schedule this week and next week, but so be it. The NFL demands that sometimes you play on Thursday night, which is probably a bad idea, but it's not going anywhere. Okay, so let's take a look at snap count starting with the offense. Please like this video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Click the bell for notifications. Become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to help support the channel. All right, so starting with the offense, 52 snaps, 52. That is a season low. And, well, no, actually, excuse me, it's not a season low. We did manage a 51. A 51 earlier this year. So, thanks to the final kneel down of the game, the kneel down after the Woolen interception, we beat it by 1. So, pretty bad, pretty bad. Again, overall, we're still doing a much better job than previous seasons on keeping the ball and balancing out the offensive snaps with the defensive snaps. But 52, that's most games going to result in a poor result. Very lucky this week it did not. How these snaps were divvied up, running back. This is pretty much what you would expect, I think, in this game. Zach Charbonnet, 39, Kenny McIntosh, 13. So basically 75-25. Makes sense. Makes sense. Kenny McIntosh is doing enough good things to where it makes sense to give him some opportunities. And when he was on the field, he mostly got the ball. He actually got the ball on more than half of his snaps. So that's probably about where we need to live going forward. And Helani will probably get involved a little bit next week, assuming we're able to sustain some offensive drives a little bit better. All right, so pretty expected here. Wide receivers, we got DK Metcalf, 46 snaps. And that was with him seemingly playing through a little bit of an injury and seemingly getting benched for a couple plays because he was acting like an idiot on that one drive. So I would definitely say that he basically played as much as he could, which is easy to do when you only have 52 offensive snaps, I guess. So 46 snaps for Metcalf, basically the whole game. JSN almost, this is as close to his playing the whole game as you can get, basically 50 snaps. So pretty much everything. And Lockett, 36 snaps. So keeping it pretty vanilla here. Bobo does get 14 snaps, which is significant when it's out of 52. And Derick Young, 1 snap, which I think was the kneel down. So basically, we only played 4 receivers in this game and didn't really see too much from any of them. But in a game like that, you're not going to see a lot from your receivers. We didn't even try to push the ball down the field. It's understandable in that weather, I think. Some of this stuff that we saw from the offense last night is understandable. Tight end, again, nothing too remarkable here. Noah Fant, 29 snaps, so a little slightly more than half the game. Pharaoh Brown, 18 snaps. AJ Barner, 14 snaps, very little. So you can see that the Seahawks were living in 3 receiver sets last night. Very little 2 tight end, which, given that would be something that I raise a little bit of an objection to, given the fact that we were playing in those conditions. Maybe that would have been a good game to go 2 tight end a lot and run the ball more. But our tight ends are also not very good at blocking right now. Like even Pharaoh Brown, who we signed to block, he doesn't do that, and we know what happens when we try to get the ball in his hands. So it's a rock and a hard place. Noah Fant obviously is not a blocker. And AJ Barner, it seems like he might be in a little bit of a, I don't want to call it the doghouse here, but we've significantly cut his playtime in favor of Pharaoh Brown. These, well, not necessarily in favor of Pharaoh Brown. Sorry if you can hear my dog. But, Yeah, it's definitely something where you look at it and you go, they're trying to pull back on him a little bit. And the offensive line this week, very simple. Everybody played 52 snaps. Charles Cross, Laken Tomlinson, Abe Lucas, Oluwatimi, and Sataoa Lomia. So maybe we're building a little bit of a synergy up front. Maybe we're starting to get some um, continuity there. It's not necessarily resulting in great play yet, but I don't know. I felt like I wasn't offended by the offensive line play in this game. It wasn't good. It was probably below average, but I feel like I've seen worse this year. Like the Green Bay game was worse, definitely. So, not anything super shocking here. I think it's mostly in line with what you would expect from a game like this. I would have preferred maybe some more two tight end stuff, I guess. And then on the defense, 61. So not a lot of snaps on the defense either. It was just a game with very few snaps. And you can see that we are still basically around equilibrium. We have 20 extra snaps on defense compared to offense. So that's something that is not gonna be something that drastically affects you. We've had teams in recent years where we have an extra game and a half worth of snaps on defense. And by the end of the year, that's something that's going to be killing you. That's something that's going to make it really hard for you to sustain play on the defensive side of the ball. 20 extra snaps on defense is pretty insignificant, I would say. So, 61 snaps, and let's dive in here. Again, nobody on the defensive line plays more than 50 snaps, which I like to see. Leonard Williams gets his 49, so he does play a huge chunk of the game, which, I mean, this is a crunch time. It makes sense. He should be playing as much as possible without overworking him. So 49 snaps, and, you take a look at this, he's probably going to end up playing right around two-thirds of our snaps this season because of the game, basically two games he missed earlier this season. That's a pretty good place to be, and I think that in this regard, this team did a fairly good job keeping things balanced for him. Byron Murphy, 32 snaps, so about half the game. Jaron Reed, 33. So I'd say we did a pretty good job keeping things balanced there. Jonathan Hankins and Roy Robertson Harris, on the other hand, you can see that they're just completely fallen out of favor here. Nothing for those guys. We got seven snaps for Hankins, 4 for Roy Robertson Harris. We don't think anything of those guys. We don't want to see them on the field anymore, very clearly. And it's not necessarily a huge problem right now, but it is a problem, and we desperately need players that we trust to play a little bit more than this next season to fill out the depth on the defensive line. This to me is a big reason why we go two down linemen so much. We don't have enough linemen to go three down linemen often. Linebacker, pretty simple. Ernest Jones the fourth every snap. Tyrese Knight plays about 75%. So pretty much what you would expect in a game like that. Very low scoring, bad weather. You would expect the Bears to put a lot of tight ends and running backs out there on the field, but that's kind of pulling against their nature as a team. So this is what you get. Nothing too shocking or remarkable here. Edge rusher, however, very interesting. Uchenna Nwosu, 41 snaps, and Boye Mafe, 44 snaps. So Boye Mafe starting to see additional playing time, and Uchenna Nwosu seems like he's pretty much ramped up at this point. They like him about as much as they're ever going to like him at this point. And both players, to my eye, played fairly well. And the fascinating thing here is, according to the chart that I saw, Derick Hall barely played. And I don't know if he's in the doghouse. I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if they just decided to pick him to ease the workload on this week. But Derick Hall played 10 snaps. This is pretty bizarre. I I didn't notice him on the field very much last night. I didn't know it was this low. And there's a few different ways to read this for sure, but I would be very interested to know why Derick Hall didn't see the field as much as he did. I would, again, he's either hurt, he's in the doghouse, or we just decided to give him a rest this week because we are trying to get everything in order for the last game and then hopefully the playoffs. And Draymond Jones, 32, so he actually played more than half the game as well. So I think we all understand that Draymond Jones is falling out of favor with this team, but he plays way more than Derick Hall in this game. I don't know what to read into that on. Okay. Everything else pretty simple. Witherspoon and Woolen played every snap. Joby, 35 snaps, and then he got hurt. So Trey Brown actually played a lot. And he did actually make some decent plays out there. He did redeem himself a little bit, playing, 30% of the snaps or so. And then safety, Love, Bryant play every snap. Rayshon plays about a quarter of the snaps, slightly more, what you would basically expect again. So when you play a game like that, you're going to keep things mostly simple. The one thing that really stands out to me this week is just what happened with Derick Hall. And like I said, there are like three possibilities here. He's hurt, he's in the doghouse, or it's just an extreme version of load management. All right, I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Everyone have a good start to your day. Weekend is almost here.